Sorry. I sent the email. I'm going to try and see if this works. Okay. I don't know if that'll work, but maybe. Okay. Next question. Says, do you think that much of the Common Core curriculum ignores empirically based, developmentally appropriate practices for children? Why or why not?
Hi, Maddie.
Oh, it worked. I'm glad.
Hey, Maddie.
Hey, sorry about that. I didn't get an email for some weird reason.
Google Hangouts is glitchy. Well, I'll just remember that we had struggles with it last week, so I'll just remember to just send you the link. Because you can, like when I add people, it's like, oh, here's the link. You can just copy it and send it. But I didn't know if it would work or not because I'd never done it that way.
Okay.
So we only answered one question. We're on the second question now.
Okay.
I totally read the wrong one. Sorry. It says, why can statements that begin with I've heard or you know they say be so dangerous when articulating your point?
I think because then that's mostly based on opinion, and also it could go through the grapevine or whatever, and it couldn't be as accurate as an actual source.
My opinion is, who is they?
Yeah.
I mean,
exactly.
they could be your mother or your husband or your friend. Like, just like you said, it could be through the grapevine.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I also thought that it doesn't really refer back to any like solid research evidence. It's kind of just like some vague idea that you've heard, at least on the grapevine, and so it doesn't really have much substance to it or like validity necessarily. So you're never really sure if it's accurate or not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true. And it's just opinion. It's opinion. It's not fact-based or research-based necessarily. I mean, it may be, but we don't know for sure.
Yeah.
No proof.
Okay. Sorry, I suddenly realized I did press broadcast. Okay, so it says, so far we've learned the importance of having the doctrine in our hearts. Why do you think it is also important to have good science in our minds and our mouths? I think this one's easy because just because it's doctrine to us doesn't mean it's doctrine to other people.
Mm-hmm.
And most of society goes by science, not by religious beliefs.
Yeah, that reminds me of the video we watched about the HIV in Africa and how they provided a really good reason for like waiting to have sex till you're married based on a scientific reason, not just a religious reason. And so it's important to have both sides of it and to be able to back up your reasoning behind whatever stance you have.
Yeah, and I also think, like, if you want to be credible in the world or with your friends or whatever, that you need to be able to back it up with, like, real facts, not that, like, the gospel isn't real, but, like, not everyone believes in that, so you need, like, worldly stuff, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so questions relating to the videos. We're like really zipping through this, so I'm worried we're gonna. If you were to pick a side on the Common Core debate, strictly based on information from evaluating research, which would you pick and why? silence.
One thing it said, because I've been kind of, I don't want to say researching, but I've been very interested in Common Core. But at the end, it had kind of talked about how there isn't much research proving that Common Core is the way to go. So there's not a lot of research, and that's, I guess, what everybody's problem with it is that there's not a lot of research, stating or proving that it's the best way to go or that it is even the right way to go. And I liked what it said on the end that the, like when it was scrolling just the words at the very end of it, it said, research has shown for decades that the best way for kids to succeed in school is parent involvement.
Yeah, I know it was really controversial when it first came out, and it even still is.
Yeah. One thing that I noticed from the video was that when they had asked 3 people to offer a comment about it or some kind of explanation, 2 of them said no and 1 didn't answer. And so I think that's really telling that, like, there really isn't a lot of research behind it that they're willing to, or that they're able to share. And so I think that was pretty, significant that they didn't have, like, information to back up their
They're trying to promote.
Yeah, because they don't know. It's just all, assessment-based type education.
I mean, from what I can see it, I have a child in school now. And I think if anything, it just brings on more anxiety. I mean, I know for myself personally, I'm not a great test taker. Especially like time tests, I don't do well at all. But like, I remember one specifically, my husband telling me I went to bed, but he said that he was up doing homework, and my son, who's 6, like kept getting out of bed one night, and finally my husband was like, "What's wrong? What's going on?" And he just broke down and started crying because he was like, "I just don't want to take more tests tomorrow. I just can't do it. It's too hard." So I just think it adds such pressure to them that they don't need. I mean, there's already so much that they have to deal with and learn that they don't need added.
Yeah, I agree with that. And it's like there's different ways of learning and approaches to it. Like my favorite is is it called authentic learning or something where they have to like apply it in a real life situation. And I think that's funny for kids.
It's kind of similar to like Montessori type learning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But one thing I think people don't realize or parents don't realize is that you can opt your kids out of that testing. You don't have to, you can just write a letter to the school and they don't have to take those tests.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I know it's that way in California. Different states might be different, but I know in California that I've opted my kids out. Well, all 3 years that Common Core has been in.
Oh,
And
I don't know if our school would. Our school, I live in Indiana, and they're so strict here. It's ridiculous. My son goes like all day. He went to all day kindergarten, and they only get like 1 recess a day. It's like 20 minutes long.
Wow.
Like boot camp here. And we've tried to get like half day, a lot of people on our board and stuff, and they like fight us on it.
That's sad.
So anyway, next question. Kind of answered it. It says, do you think that much of the Common Core curriculum ignores empirically based, developmentally appropriate practices for children? Why or why not?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I think so. I mean, just from what I said, like my son gets a 20-minute recess every day, and that's if it's I mean, this is obviously just based off my experience, so it's not empirically based, but he gets lunchtime at 11 o'clock, and then his recess starts at 11:20. And if he's not done with lunch, he doesn't get recess. So half the time he comes home starving, and he hasn't even had lunch today. And I ask him why, and he's like, well, if I finish my lunch, then I don't get recess. And I got after him, was like, you have to eat lunch. And that day he came home crying and really wound up and stuff. And I said, what's going on? He's like, I finished my lunch today, but I didn't get recess.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, just simple things like that. I mean, that's basic, but studies have shown recess like greatly decreases ADHD in kids, and my son has ADHD, especially in boys, and just all these things, and they're completely ignoring it. Anyway, that's my experience. So I think they are completely ignoring it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What have you learned from cultural imperialism about the persuasive function of research and science in creating cultural change?
It's hard.
Right.
I learned mainly that with research and science being used to make arguments, it's being harder to argue against it and to refute those findings. Because with the case of the cultural imperialism, like they know that unprotected sex is causing all these diseases and everything, and it's really hard to argue against the scientific facts that are showing that. And so there's a lot of, like, I think, power with using research and persuasion.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Me too.
What lessons have you learned to make you more skillful in combating your chosen topic or threat?
I think it needs to be backed with research.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I didn't really learn anything this lesson because I've taken like research methods and like this is my last semester before I graduate. So to me, this was just a review. Do research. So, but yeah, like you can't just use any website or web page and say that's fact, because a lot of the time they skew numbers and results to fit what they're trying to sell or promote.
Yeah. One thing that I learned this week was that it's important to consider both sides of an argument, because it's easy to focus on like one side and all the benefits of it and downplay or ignore the alternative side. And so just being aware of both ends of the argument and, using research to explore both sides of it, and then make your decision based on what you've found, and not just like making a pre-made decision and ignoring other evidence from the alternative side.
Yeah. Maddie and I have an easy topic. Like everybody knows that we're doing abuse and neglect. So everybody already knows.
Yeah.
That it's bad. So it's not going to be really hard to find the research to back our claims.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Now, like pornography.
Yeah, that's different.
That is hard. But if any of you guys are doing pornography, I did my research methods on that. And I have a ton of articles, so. So if you were interested.
Oh, sorry, what?
I said if you're interested, I can send some if anybody's doing pornography. I don't know if anybody is, though.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, me neither.
I know there was a lot.
Yeah, there were.
Anyway. What time are we at? Oh, we're right, like where we need to cut off for Karen. Who wants to post? I can post the link. Just because I'll have the link.
Okay.
Does somebody want to post the summary?
Do we do that on the discussion board or just at the end of our video here?
I think she just wants the last couple minutes to be the summary for the little bit.
Oh, okay. I thought we had to type it.
I can read. Let me read about it. But if somebody wants to sum up while I figure out if we have to post it too.
I think in summary, we've talked about how your opinions are based off of how you've lived and the culture of your life, whereas fact has been heavily studied and reviewed and has come up with the results again and again and again. Research both sides of something you're trying to discuss or present your opinion on so that you know what you're talking about. And it's important to have good science because not everyone has the same beliefs as we do about family. So science can back up your claims, and let's be honest, like half the time science usually backs up what we believe. So I don't know what else we should summarize.
I think that was good.
Yeah, I think that's great. And it just says that she'll for sure check our summary. It doesn't say anything about posting.
Okay.
Yeah, it sounds good.
All right.
Yeah, it just says at the end of your discussion, have one or all the groups make a summary statement of what your group's consensus is to the discussed questions.
Oh, I must have missed that.
It's on, yeah, I think we do have to post it.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
No, you're fine. I think it's kind of confusing.
Yeah, I'm gonna, if you want, I can email her and ask just to clarify if she wants us to do that, because it hasn't been very clear, the instructions, I feel like, so I can do that.
Okay.
Thank you.
And do you want to post it if we do need to do the summary?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I'll post the link and then you can just reply to it or whatever and put the summary underneath it.
Okay. Sounds good.
Alrighty, ladies.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Talk to you later. Bye.